Three MLS teams walked into the FIFA Club World Cup. One made history, one held their own, one got humbled hard. Okay, today we're going to be handing out report cards, all right, for each of the three participating Major League Soccer teams in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Miami, LAFC, Seattle. Who showed up and who got sent home early with that participation trophy? All right, as usual, as part of Week of MLS, if you know, I am not alone for today's video. I do have a couple great co-hosts with me. Let's tee them up. We got first off, Hector from Insert Name FC. Hector, welcome in, my boy. And then we got Davi from the Blue Boroughs Pod. Davi, welcome in, brother.
Doing?
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Teed up the intro. We know what we're doing today. We're grading each of the three MLS teams in the FIFA Club World Cup. Look, we knew expectations weren't sky high for these sides going into the tournament. If we saw an upset here or there, would have been fucking awesome. Nonetheless, here we are. We're going to grade them with that context in mind. So I got some questions I'm going to tee up for every one of the sides. And this is the criteria that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be grading, giving an actual grade to each of these teams based on the following. Here we go, guys. Here's how it looks. Result and progression. Okay, plain and simple. Win-loss record, how far they got. That's what we're going to look at. Level of competition they faced. Miami, we're looking at y'all in that group. Style points. Do they play well? Do they look sharp? Do they have a plan? Et cetera, et cetera. Or they just sit back and soak up all the pressure. And then finally, you see my man Messi in there. Big moment impact. Did the big moments come from the biggest stars on the field showing up, or did they ghost? We'll talk all about it. All right. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video, lads. Let's start with Inter Miami. Inter Miami, the first team we're going to tee up here. Kind of curious just to kind of start things off, right? We all know, if you guys didn't go watch our preview and our prediction for the FIFA Club World Cup, which technically is right and wrong at this point. You know what I'm talking about? Again, pause this video, go watch that video, come back to this one. But again, we made predictions. We all saw how this was going to go. We know Miami had the easiest of groups. So talk to me, fellas. We got Miami, who was able to top Group A with a historic win over Porto, a draw with Palmeiras. And then from there, they bow out in the tournament in one of the craziest, I didn't even think it was going to be a talking point after the fucking game, but here we are. One of the craziest talking points following their exit from the tournament in that 4-0 loss to PSG. I want to start this off with a great stat to kick things off. It's all around my GOAT, who I'm rocking the jersey of. It's PSG, but again, it is a Messi jersey. Messi just became the first player to progress from all 33 group stages played in his career. How impressive of a stat is that?
That's why he's the GOAT, right?
It has to be. That's what I think. Some people are playing it down, though. Like, it's not a big deal.
I mean, dude, I think that's a big deal. I mean, I didn't even back Miami to get out of the group. I didn't even back them to finish above fourth.
Bro, I had third. I was realistic. I feel like you were too harsh on Miami, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hold my hands up on that prediction. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll hold my hands up.
Facts. What about you, Hector?
Look, I think first of all, they didn't top the group. It was actually Palmeiras off goal.
Oh yeah, sorry. Second.
Yeah, I mean,
they tied, right? They tied for top.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been facing PSG if they topped the group.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, yeah, no, I think one, yes, it's impressive, and it's the fact that you have been in so many competitions and to be able to get out of the group stage in every single one of them. I don't know if that includes the Olympics, but I think that should. Yeah, I think that's it's an impressive feat nonetheless. You see the impact of what Messi has. It could also be also a combination of some of the great players that Messi also has been able to work alongside. Obviously, when you think of the Argentinian teams with guys like Riquelme, if you think of Barcelona with Andres Iniesta and Xavi, and I mean this Miami team. Look, for what the fact that MLS teams have certain limitations on how they can do their rosters. I will say they probably do have a good plethora of players. Maybe if it was like 5 years ago, I'd be more excited about these players than where they are now. But still, I think this was a very tough group. I felt that this was a group that it could be very much anyone's game. I favored Palmeiras. I know Jose was very high on Porto.
Honestly, they disappointed the shit out of me. Them, along with like maybe Benfica, need to be on. People keep saying fraud watch. To me, those two teams very, very disappointing.
Yeah, so I think it was a good group, and I mean, I feel like it was one of those where everyone really got a good chance of getting the best out of each other. I think Al Ahly, got a lot of people's attention. I don't think anyone thinks that they're a slouch now. I think that they show what the quality of Egyptian football is. And yeah, it was a good group. And I think for Inter Miami, a team that maybe not many people felt they deserved to be in this competition, being that they were granted the host of the competition. But I think also on top of that, I think still, you're in a group alongside a team like Porto, a team that has won a Champions League, and Palmeiras, who is in some aspect Brazilian royalty. So I think, with all that put into it, I think, yeah, it's a good showing for them to come out of this group.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, anybody joined me and Davi on the watch party for Al Ahly versus Inter Miami? I mean, we were saying the whole time, like, Al Ahly should have been winning that game, bro. That first half was quite literally all of them, bro. Nobody else. Like, Miami couldn't sniff. Ustadi had his Brad Guzan moment. If anybody remembers the playoffs last season, right? Like, he just had that moment in that game, and that's the only thing that kept Miami from losing. But here's the thing, right? Like, with what Hector just mentioned, and he alluded, I think, a little bit to a point I'm going to make a little bit later, but with the results that you just mentioned, Hector, and I'm kind of curious how you think about this. They beat Porto. They drew with Palmeiras. We all know, again, how storied and fabled those two sides really are, regardless of how the Portuguese sides played in this tournament. But then, and like, again, think about going to the knockout rounds. If I remember the timeline at that point, everyone is glazing, and I mean glazing, Miami. It is historic what they're doing. They beat Porto. They drew Palmeiras. Look at MLS. Look at this. Look at that. And it goes from that in the span of 48 hours to this is embarrassing to go out to PSG like this. MLS should be embarrassed. The league needs to be overhauled now. It doesn't work. When are they going to wake up? I'm in the trenches on Twitter trying to like throw grenades back, stick up for the league in some form or fashion, because at the end of the day, people just forget context. They do, bro. I don't know what it is. They leave context out willingly, right? And they just look at the result. 4-0, doesn't matter who you are. That should be an embarrassment. Do you guys agree?
I mean, if they're going to use that logic, Inter Milan should probably be disbanded.
Losing 5-0 in the Champions League final. I agree.
That's even worse because that's a cup final. So, I mean,
yeah.
Look, did anyone expect Inter Miami? Look, there's levels to it, obviously. PSG right now is at the pinnacle. As of right now, I think still deemed heavy favorites to win this whole thing. But, I mean, did anyone expect an Inter Miami team that has a very aging roster to go up against arguably one of the most exciting young teams in all of European football, along with probably arguably one of the maybe this year's best manager in Luis Enrique? That's a lot of chips. That's not an easy feat. Like, if anything, it could have been a lot worse. Let's be honest.
A lot worse.
You could have been Auckland City.
Yeah. And look, even that, let me ask you guys something. Because I had this argument, and I'm curious how you guys feel about it. Do you guys feel like Bayern beating Auckland City 10-0 is an embarrassment for Auckland City, knowing who they are?
No. I think it was expected.
Wholeheartedly agree.
There's a guy that's a manager of a warehouse in New Zealand, got to be on the same pitch as Manuel Neuer. Like,
and crying about it, bro. He scored on him, like freaked out. Like, and I can only imagine the story he's gonna have for the rest of his life, and that's how he saw it, because it's literally a lifetime opportunity.
They had like bankers like taking like their PTO just to come to this fucking tournament.
Yeah, bro. Like, I know, bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like, do you know how much you diminish the FIFA Club World Cup, certain leagues and clubs in general, disrespectful, just because you don't want to include context and realize, bro, this is a team of straight up, no disrespect, farmers with pitchforks. This is straight up a part-time team. They don't train full-time, and even if they were able to train full-time, who in New Zealand's going to give this team enough competition to be ready for the FIFA Club World Cup? Just don't see it, bro. I just don't
won
see
their
it.
Champions League, though.
Hey, I love that for them, bro. I swear to God, I do. I'm not trying to drag them. I'm trying to make the point that, like, they could have lost 21-0. I've seen Bayern do that to teams in the preseason. I've seen it. I've seen 28-0. They lost 10. You know what? I don't think anybody batted an eye at that. And I look at it this way too. PSG, yes. Are they miles ahead of even the best team in Major League Soccer? Yes, bro. Is 4-0 accurate? Yeah, sounds about right. The reigning European champion?
In fact, like, it was 4-0 at halftime. I think, quite frankly, you're lucky it wasn't double.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I get they'll use that for their argument too. It actually could have been way worse. 4-0's not even that bad. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but it was always going to be bad. This is MLS, bro. We're 30 years into our league. PSG has players over that age, bro. Like, there's no history to this league. They're just getting grounded in competitions like this They're still figuring it out domestically, much less what happens overseas. I mean, bro, like even having in our backyard doesn't give us enough of a home field advantage with MLS sides to like really be competitive. Like it's not a conversation yet. I don't know why we're rage baiting so fucking hard to try and make this a thing. I don't know, bro. It actually really ticks me off. I've had so many arguments on Twitter. If y'all want to fight me about it, spam your Twitter down below. I'll DM you about it.
I mean, I could see the argument though with like the money side. I mean, I've been saying this for a couple years now. Like ever since we got Messi, I think you should have increased the salary cap. If not, damn near get rid of it.
True. I agree with that. My only problem with that is that here's the question I bet you can't answer. Why would MLS do it?
I mean, they're not
going to do it. They have no reason to do it.
They want to keep
the league has grown every year in recent memory. I can't think of a year where like the league was stumbling so hard they had to do something as drastic as remove all the safeguards around this league.
I mean, the last time they had to do that was like 2001. So we're way past that. I mean,
we're way past that point, bro. Like they don't have to do it. Like, why are we complaining about something that we know will not change? The only thing that will force their hand is like the USL conversation. It's a conversation for a completely other day. Yeah. But like to use that argument to like drag MLS teams when they go down 4-0 to the reigning European champs, shit makes no sense to me.
Dude, and I think that USL still has a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
So
no, I think obviously we don't want to go deep into that rabbit hole, but I mean like that goes also the same thing with the whole promotion relegation. People that wanting this, and this is coming from a guy that maybe down the road I can see one day promotion relegation very much being a thing, especially if MLS continues to want to expand. But look, it's going to be like baby steps to some aspect. And at the end of the day, and I hate how everyone keeps saying that like MLS is so business. Bro, last time I checked, didn't they try to create a European Super League?
Like, and then they did. They just didn't brand it as the Super League. They literally created the exact same format UEFA did to make sure Super League couldn't become a thing. It's quite literally the exact same format. Yeah. So like, bro, yes. Why is a UEFA Nations League a thing in general? Right? Mm-hmm. Why do we have more tournaments now than we ever had? Why is Leagues Cup a thing? Right? Like,
why is Gold Cup played every 2 years?
Yeah, bro. It's all about money. It's not just MLS. It's the world. You're mad at capitalism, bro, and that has nothing to do with the argument around whether or not MLS was competitive in this game. They were not as competitive as we would have liked, of course, but we knew that going in. Everybody did. If you didn't, you'd be living under a rock, or you're farming those impressions, farming those clicks and those likes. And I mean, do what you got to do, bro. At the end of the day, right? I mean, make your money, right? Your hustle, do what you got to do. But I'm gonna be here to combat that shit every step of the way. Like I at least for the sake of me, bro, as a fan. I love having real conversations around growing the game here. Shit's not gonna grow with rage baiters. I'll tell you that. It just won't.
Or maybe they're just communists. Who knows?
I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. Well, you guys get what I'm getting at, right? Like the last point that I really kind of wanted to make, and the question that I had, but I think we kind of answered it, is just like, does MLS's rules make this loss excusable? And I think it does. Like, it's not in their control, and they're still competing, basically handicapped in this fucking tournament.
That's Dude, I mean, they literally beat a UEFA-based team. So
a Champions League level team. Again,
the team won the Champions League.
Yeah, won the Champions League. But again, people say like, "Oh, Forest has won the Champions League before." Fine, but I'm saying like, still recent memory, right? In modern times, a consistent Champions League football.
They still won within the century. So it's,
Arsenal just knocked him out. When was it? Not last year. Was it last year? The year before?
It's last year. Last year. Pens,
yeah. So like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just one of those things where, again, like you have to include context. If you don't, if you're a person that just says, hey, the scoreline is embarrassing, no matter what, you can't tell me otherwise, then bro, you are living in your own ignorant bubble with your echo chamber and having everybody be a yes man to you. Cool. That's just not.
Dude, I think if it got to 6-7, then okay, fine. You could say it's embarrassing.
Yeah, be mad then, bro. Be mad. Barcelona lost to Bayern worse, bro. 8-2. Like that's a way worse of a whoop ass than Auckland City losing 10-0 to Bayern. Like it just.
That's the other thing. Like, there's been blowouts in Champions League. There's been blowouts in every aspect of the game as far as like World Cups, we've seen teams. I mean, Germany always likes to use that one on Brazil, but like it like there's nothing you can do when it comes to a blowout. Sometimes good teams get blown out. It just happens, like it just wasn't their day. Now, if this game was replayed 10 times, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'd still say PSG probably wins him. Maybe that one time, maybe Barcelona, Jesus Christ, Inter Miami wins it that one time around. But I mean, it's still like this was very much a David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Of an event. So
I agree wholeheartedly, bro. I agree.
Hey, you know what? Ultimately, you got MLS out of the group stage. I think if everyone was grouped, the completely different conversation.
Yeah, but not even just that, bro. If you ask every MLS fan, hey, if we don't get absolutely wrecked or destroyed in any of our fucking games, and we have at least one team that advances to the knockout round in this tournament, is it not a W? I think most knowledgeable fans, that's the key word there, ladies and gentlemen at home, most knowledgeable fans or even reasonable fans would say yes. And I hate putting that adjective in front of that.
I mean, realistically, this last one was the only one that an MLS team really got blown out.
Yeah. I agree, bro. I agree. So look, we've harped on it enough. Again, let us know how you feel in the comments down below, especially Miami fans, MLS fans in general, bro. And for those who are wondering who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about, right? In general, there's so many big MLS accounts now that just kind of all seem to echo one another. And yeah, bro, you got to include context. Everyone's had that debate with me. I'm totally down. I'll bring you on this show. We'll have that debate. But like, yeah, that's
I'm really proud right now, you guys. You guys are the Messi haters, and you guys defending Inter Miami. I think growth. That's what we do here in Wake Up MLS. We like to grow. And,
bro, I grew in two ways too. I work at PSG. Anybody knows me knows I do not like PSG. Did not want to talk about that club positively in the last video, but here we are. I'm rocking their kit for this video. Got Messi on the back. We moved.
They might even have a potential Ballon d'Or winner on the team.
Oh, God. We'll see, man. That's a whole other conversation too. All right, guys. Again, let the comments down below how you feel about that one. All right, man. Let's go into the next MLS side that we saw play, right? At least their opening match in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, the Seattle Sounders. And look, man, nobody gave this team a chance. Now, I can't think of a single fan that was like, yeah, even against Botafogo, they have some kind of a chance of like getting third even, and the other two are European giants, so whatever. But again, they were very much underdogs. They fell to Botafogo. They fell to Atletico Madrid. They fell to PSG. And with all of that said, they scored 2 goals and frankly did not get blown out in any one of those games. They were competitive in all 3 from my perspective. So when you think about...
Technically, they were better than Inter Miami.
Yeah, they actually were. Did not lose anywhere close to that score line when it comes to what Miami kind of pulled off against PSG. So to kick this one off, and I think for the sake of everybody being so negative from what I've seen about Seattle on the timeline so far, I really want to kind of start things off with just the opening game because to me, it was their most positive. They had some real chances, bro. Real chances to even go ahead in this game. I think back to, as an FC Dallas fan myself, Jesus Ferreira missing that left-footed banger in like the 20th minute or whatever that was. This fucking close. Like it makes you just a little more proud as an MLS fan. But Seattle did go to toe-to-toe with Botafogo. They scored. Do you guys feel like they silenced the critics they had going into that match? Or is it too easy to look at the table and be like, nah, 3 straight losses, there's still a massive gap between MLS and the rest of the world?
It's like, once again, if you're just being that guy that just looks at the box score, then you're gonna say that this was not a good showing for Seattle. But I had a very low bar for Seattle. As a matter of fact, it's a team that even in MLS right now I'm not really high on. And aside from all the other MLS teams, this was the only MLS team that actually, in fact, won a Champions League, a CONCACAF Champions Cup. That actually technically really did qualify for this competition.
Yeah, this is the only MLS team that we knew for sure that was going to be in this tournament.
Yeah. So, and I think that Seattle tried, at least prepared to try to have a good amount of players ready for this competition. And obviously that's more of a Xiaoyan thing to talk about, but depending on how you feel, how they did as far as their player acquisitions went. But the goal was to get this team ready for this Club World Cup. At least I feel like that was their main focus. And I mean, yes, you lose 1-2 to Botafogo, which I think, we said some good things about Botafogo. Matter of fact, they came out of this group. Atletico Madrid, you lose 1-3. As a matter of fact, there was a moment where they felt that they were going to beat Atletico Madrid. It wasn't very long, but they did. They did feel like they were going to beat Atletico Madrid. And then once again, you lose 2-0 to PSG, which once again are arguably heavy favorites to win this entire thing, and you can at least now have a little confidence knowing, hey, we didn't lose 4-0.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
And
but you
look
at
they
this
held
group.
They held them off like about 70 something minutes in that game too to a 0-0. So
yeah, you look at this group though, and I mean, one, do you think it panned out the way that we saw it? Not at all, right? Because I think we had Atleti like in second, I believe. I believe it was PSG, Atleti, Botafogo, and Sounders. I could have been wrong about that.
Dude, I mean that Botafogo upset against PSG really discombobulated our prediction.
Yeah. I mean, that part is what it is. I just think, again, it's too easy to look at this and be like, bro, they scored twice. They got scored on more times than literally anybody in this group. They didn't deserve to be there, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, I hate the narrative. Like the group of death, quite literally this was. Like Atletico Madrid did not even advance out of the group. Like, let that shit sink in, bro. It wasn't just the Sounders. It was far more embarrassing for Atleti. And so, I don't know, man. Again, we I don't want to feel like I'm just bitching this whole episode, but it's just one of those things where I don't know, man. These takes from Club World Cup fans or the viewers who've watched so far, at least here stateside, bro, head scratchers, fucking head scratchers through and through. Let me ask you guys a different question before we again, there's not a whole ton to say around Seattle, right? The results are pretty straightforward, but I do think there's a couple extra points here. One is we talked about in the preview leading up to this, at least a little bit, right? We all know the controversy around Seattle going into this. They wore those Club World Cup cash grab shirts, right? Called out the league. The response from, was it the owner, the GM? Who was it that came down? The owner of the club. So again, at the end of the day, that was, if you can't spell it out at home, that was a protest, right? By the Sounders players. We all saw the various opinions. We had some of our own. Do we feel like now, knowing what the Club World Cup actually was and is, right, still being played right now, were they justified? Were the protests justified, right? Is this a cash grab cup that we're still playing right now, or hasn't been exciting enough to create something new around the club game globally?
Dude, I think with the Man City Al Hilal, that was a really good game. With the 4-3s back and forth.
Probably game of the tournament so far.
Yeah. And then you had I think you had another game in there as well that was quite back and forth. I believe it was I can't remember if it was the group stage or if it was or the knockouts, but I think that Man City Al Hilal, like, what have you done for me recently? That one sticks out big time. Mm-hmm. So I think it's slowly growing on people. I think it could definitely grow on people and onto some fans, but I do believe just the marketing and having the teams or having the games at a inconvenient time, in different areas and stuff during people's work day really did kill the tournament. It was more so they wanted to pander to Europe so they could.
But factor all that in. Don't put logic around it. Factor it in. Even with that included, was this tournament worth it, or was it a cash grab?
I think the concept of the Club World Cup, at least, I think the before this became a thing, it was always just all right, cool, who cares, right? Because it was just 8 teams. I think
Europe's going to win it. Europe's going to win it. That's
Europe's going to win it, and I think what we got with this, and I think it was the idea was, we all done it in FIFA. Whenever we play FIFA or EA Sports FC, we've all created our own FIFA Club World Cup, so to say. Obviously, with limitations, not that you're able to get all the regions to cover it, but still, you've done your own Club World Cup in some aspect. Don't lie. Don't be honest, Chad. Be honest. I did too. I tried to win it with the Houston Dynamo. I lost in the first round.
Damn, rough. Was this Brian Ching days, or how old was this FIFA wise?
Brian Ching near retirement days.
Ooh, that's a good team. That's a good Houston team. No bullshit.
Yeah. But so we've all done it. But so the idea of an actual Club World Cup, I'm sure we've all were this would be cool. Now, the build up to this thing, I think that there was still a lot of questions. One, we still didn't have a viewers, a way to watch these games. The Zone finally swooped in before, it beat out Apple TV, even though they both offer the same amount of money. But I think I would say the Zone, aside from that one hiccup, the one tweet that I posted, so far so good.
Yeah.
Also, I've been watching it in Unima, so that's all. So, but when I have watched it on the Zone,
Yeah, it is
No-
good. It is
no
good.
issue.
I tell you what, DAZN does spam the shit out of DAZN Premium. Like that is like, bro, their CTAs are everywhere,
I
bro.
felt like I was on a stream.
I know. I was like, is my Twitch TV right now? What's website am I on, bro? Holy shit! I was like, what's going on? But yeah, bro, I was like,
do you want to watch this Jake Paul fight?
you know what the craziest part too about being in the free viewer experience? It actually says free view in the corner. Like if you look at the DAZN logo on yours, I was like, bro, they are straight up calling me a broke boy for anybody who comes over to watch this game with me. This is wild.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but like the zone has like the weird like there's like this weird like code on like the
yeah, that's what we're
that
talking
pops
about.
up on
The
the
QR code. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The whole like
And then-
DAZN Premium, bro. They shoved
And then
that shit in your
I
face.
watched it on my desktop, and there's just like a little like chat
Yeah.
on the side.
I mean, bro, I don't mind
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
depending on what I'm watching, I'll turn chat off. And this is not just on DAZN. This is literally everywhere, YouTube, Twitch. But like, I don't mind that. That's not crazy. But chat can get toxic, and it's actually pretty funny sometimes. But
That's what I like. I was all for it. I was just like, what did he say? Like,
I know, bro. He's reading green comments. I'm like, bro, this is we're so far gone down this on this chat.
But-
This is crazy.
To bring it back, like I think the concept of a Club World Cup was still enticing.
Yeah.
The money, I think the money, it built an incentive, right? Because look, the complaints have been cleared that we're overworking these players to some extent. Like these guys, as soon as this is over, maybe 2 or 3 weeks off, and then they're going right into physicals and getting ready for the next season. Like it's just what it is, right? And I think that was my issue. And then also I had some concerns, like, okay, what happens if they sell a player mid-tournament? Obviously I feel like they answered that question, being that Luka Modric is still playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's interesting. I don't think anybody had complained about the idea of a Club World Cup. Obviously, the execution, maybe there were some questions, at least initially. The player introductions, maybe we can not do that ever again.
I know the walkouts, bro. I'm sitting there watching, and I always watch the walkouts now because my son's 2 years old, and he's legitimately just amazed by the lights. He's like, "Oh snap!" But like outside of that, there's no point to him. Literally, no.
What the hell is this, NFL?
Yeah, they shut your kid up for all of 30 seconds. That part's pretty impressive. But like outside of that, bro,
all I think about is like the little hype music that they do for the Chicago Bulls. Like,
bro, I fuck with that intro. That is how I believe the Pope should have been introduced day one. 100% is Michael Jordan's intro for the Bulls. That would have been amazing.
6'3" from the University of North Carolina.
I'm in. I'm so in. I'm in. Yeah, bro. I again, some of that stuff is pretty cool, but there's a feedback, there's a suggestion box. FIFA President Infantino. Yeah, we can do that the walkouts, bro. They're not really doing much for anybody.
Oh yeah, but I think the most of the complaints is just the fact that it's here in the U.S. I think that's like the biggest issue. Like, oh, it shouldn't be here. Why isn't it some people were speaking down on Mamelou Sundowns and all the other unique teams, but I loved it. I was like, you got to see South African football. You got to see Egyptian football. You got to see
they gave Dortmund a run for their money as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see. I now obviously I love the Japanese. I love when I get to see the Japanese and just doing their thing. Right?
So loud, man. They're so loud.
It was great, and then of course they had to clean the stadium up before they left. Like
yes, bro. I love that. I love the manners, the courtesy.
Like it's all things you love about the World Cup, right? But now it's clubs. Now you're getting to see like what a club from that region looks like, because some of these players that play internationally, like they play mostly in Europe. Now we get to see like where maybe the homegrown talent. How does that look? And I thought that was cool, and I think it was awesome. The people that are I think FIFA don't cater to Europe. Like when the FIFA World Cup starts, like if the game starts at 6, the game starts at 6. Like.
Yep. They'll adjust. I had to do it when Qatar was here in 2022. I was getting up at 4 a.m. for Argentina, Saudi Arabia, bro. I got up for every game, honestly. Like it's literally once every 4 years. I will not miss a game regardless of what time it actually comes out.
I mean, Japan, South Korea. My dad was literally waking me up at 3 a.m.
Same. I got up at 3 a.m. for the final. Like it's just like you're never going to with those opportunities. I'm never going to miss out. Doesn't matter what time it is. And trust me, if they're big fans of those clubs, they're not going to miss it either.
I mean, some people even for the Women's World Cup the year after Qatar, like they were staying up till midnight, 1 a.m. to watch those games as well.
Bro, 100%, bro. Again, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. Sports, gaming, bro. I know plenty of Optic fans, for my fellow gamers out there, who are going to stay up until 3 a.m. because they live overseas to watch them play. Like, it is what it is, bro. It's part of fandom in general. You will make sacrifices. Last thing I'll mention on the Club World Cup piece, I did think the coolest part about it, mainly from what most fans are excited about when it comes to summer, is we get to see some of the summer transfers play a little bit early, bro. How often do you have to wait all summer to get a glimpse of what your new signing looks like in your colors, your badge, to see if they mesh, if they fit in, any little spark here and there. You typically at international tournaments, and even then you can only make assumptions, right? We're seeing them with the clubs they will be with. So I don't know, man. To me, there's a lot of benefits to it, but I do see the arguments for those who are like, hey, it's a little bit of a cash grab. But the only response I would have to that is, in this day and age of 2025 in football, what isn't? So with all that said, let's move on to our last team and topic for the video tonight, man. LAFC, an interesting one, depending on who you ask. I saw some forgiving LAFC fans, and I saw some not so forgiving LAFC fans on the timeline. So I'm curious to see how you guys feel. But nonetheless, man, they ended. I want to talk really about the ending, because to me, the ending put the stamp on the entire fucking group. It wasn't the game against Chelsea. I actually was somewhat underwhelmed with LAFC a little bit against Chelsea. I thought Chelsea didn't play that well, and they still got the pretty clinical dub. LAFC had chances, sure, they held their own, but I think the game against Flamengo at the end said everything about this team. So again, right, for those who just didn't watch the game or maybe didn't get a chance to dissect all of it just yet, LAFC fought Flamengo 1000%, bro. I actually thought they were the scrappiest they'd been the whole tournament in that game because they needed it. They fought them tooth and nail. They go up in the 84th minute through a Denny Bouanga goal. I literally thought as I was watching that, bro, LAFC are going to knock a Brazilian side out of this tournament, or at least finish above them. And then Flamengo scores like 2 minutes later or 3 minutes later, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, bro, Flamengo might actually fucking win this. And it might be more embarrassing for MLS that we bottled this. But you think about this, right? Are we disappointed that they couldn't pull off that win? I was. I don't know how you guys feel. I know I took up a lot for MLS sides, but I actually think, considering the timing of the goal and the mentality, once you get that goal in a competition this big, they bottled it, in my opinion. Are you guys disappointed by the Flamengo result?
Look, I think well, one, this tournament definitely showed that the Brazilian sides are very much a threat. I think people forget why they take so many 16-year-olds from these teams to begin with. But one, also, they were very much in their element, by the way. When people complain about weather, obviously it was all the guys from the other hemisphere, the Brazilians, the Argentines, and the Mexicans didn't seem to be having any issues with the weather. But look, I think Flamengo, to say the least, I think, it was a good fought game. And LAFC, maybe they got too excited too early, and obviously it took 2 minutes to respond. But I think if you're LAFC, though, one, you kind of had to get prepared a little bit later than most clubs were that mentally prepared, because obviously they got to do a play-in with Club America, and then now all of a sudden they're in the Club World Cup, right? Yep. So probably for a team that had the least amount of time to really prepare themselves for this competition, honestly, it's not that bad. It's like if you gave yourself like 2 days to study before a final.
Yeah, basically. That's actually a great analogy.
When you didn't even know you were going to even test for that class. So,
because let's be honest, in that analogy, is America really studying? Is it like, is that what we're using as a study material to get ready for that final? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to drag America or anything, or America fans. There's a lot of y'all out there. But yeah, man, I agree.
That's fine. They're used to it.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, man, do you agree? Like, are you disappointed by the result, or you feel like there's just some context people are leaving out, Davi?
I think I'm just more disappointed in the result before against
Esperanza.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously the missed penalty in the 90th minute, by Bouanga, that was very disappointing. They could have salvaged at least a point, and had things gone differently in that last game, maybe they would have gone through. But yeah, I think that was like the one that most MLS fans and LAFC fans are circling. Is like, all right, we're gonna beat this team from Tunisia, and hopefully try to get a result against Flamengo and try to advance to second place out of the group. I think that was disappointing to lose to a team from Tunisia. And,
Yeah, bro.
I mean, especially not to at least pick up a point in that game to get, kind of have your elimination confirmed 2 games into the tournament is very disappointing. But I mean, with the performances they put up against Chelsea and Flamengo, it's one of those where it's like it's 50-50. It's like,
Yeah.
like some people would either go, all right, it wasn't that bad of a tournament considering how much time we had to prepare. And other was like, all right, we should have picked up more points. We should have advanced at least. We should have gotten to at least the second round of the tournament. But I mean, I don't know where to go from here. I'm kind of like in the middle, still picking like where I want to go. But I'm more leaning towards the disappointment side, where I think I expected more out of this team.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. I hear that. Let me ask you guys about the Chelsea game then, because you mentioned Esperance, and I actually agree. I don't think we need to talk around in circles in that one. I think it was like with the context that they dropped the ball in that game, I was focused on the Flamengo match because it just had everything, and they had a lead and could not pull it out. But with Chelsea being them 2-0, right? A lot of fans saying that LAFC was better in the second half, much better, right? Like they not better than Chelsea per se, but it definitely went toe to toe with them. So are LA of all the teams in MLS right now, would you say LAFC is one of the most poised in future competitions to continue to do something, to play spoiler as the MLS side in these group stages to get to the knockout rounds? Or is it too early to even know that?
I think when you think of LAFC, the team that has the most, like I guess, allure, right? LA in LA, right in the middle of LA, the black and gold, like it just everything just screams like this should be the Real Madrid, if you will, of MLS, right? The stars, the ownership group, right? Just all that alone, just being LA, the city of stars, and all that crap. Like you think this is the team that will be setting the standard for the league. Hasn't really very much lately, but still, like I mean, you feel they're always in the conversation, right? And I think, and the other thing is, they're a destination. LA is a destination for a lot of these players. A lot of guys want to go to LA. A lot of guys want to go to New York. Maybe once they figure out the stadium, but like everyone wants to go to the big cities. That's what they're gonna want to do, especially for these guys that don't know of Charlotte, North Carolina, or don't know about a Salt Lake City, uh, Utah. Like, but they know what LA is. They know what Miami is. They know Orlando, to some extent Texas. So like, and I think that's what the allure is with LAFC. Like LAFC will always be a destination club for a lot of these guys that are not from the US. And I think with that, maybe because of their already attraction, could lure players enough to be competitive in these competitions.
Yeah, bro. I agree. Okay, man. As far as like LAFC goes, overall, man, it was a pretty mid showing. I will say, like, it wasn't good, wasn't bad. Definitely earned some respect, I would say, from clubs and leagues abroad.
But it could have been better. There's room for improvement.
Definitely room for improvement. And speaking of that, the last little piece I wanted to mention today was simply Olivier Giroud, right? Following the exit of the tournament from the tournament by LAFC. Giroud has announced he is going back to Europe already. Not really a fan of maybe just either quality of life at the club or quality of life in general out in LA. But he is headed back. Is this kind of good riddance for Olivier Giroud? Do they need like another star DP to get this team over the line?
Oh, it's a blessing in disguise, man. Like it hasn't been working out. I feel like you've had better showings from either Ibobasi or Nathan Ordaz at this point, So, it was an exciting idea to get the sexy Frenchman over here to the US and being, but I think at the same time he just didn't fit to what LAFC was looking for in a 9. I don't think he was the 9 that works for LAFC. Now, Ibobasi clearly works to the tactics of what Cherundolo wants. And I think that's the reason why I think, yes, it's a major disappointment that it didn't pan out. Very Zlatan-esque in some aspect, except Zlatan was actually impactful for the Galaxy. Or as Fat Kid D says, Frank Lampard somehow had more games with NYCFC than Giroud had in LAFC.
Damn, bro, that's crazy.
Hey, here's the thing. Lampard was actually decent with NYCFC when he was on the field.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. To be fair, like I don't think I've seen like terrible showings from Lampard. He just never really played.
It's just the
it was still a waste of money.
Him not wanting to come.
Yeah, it was still a waste of money for that reason, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, you kind of did get your money's worth out of Lampard. I mean, he scored the first hat trick in NYCFC history for crying out loud.
Yeah, he put asses in seats. That's for
against Tim Howard.
Yeah,
so
asses in seats, boys. Asses in seats. That's all that really matters for, especially that team at that point in time, right? Brand new. That's all that matters. At the end of the day.
I think the more realistic comparison, if you want to go that far, would be Pirlo, just because of how he wasn't really that impactful with New York City at the time, and he was on his last legs. But
he never went back to Europe, did he?
No, he never did. He retired here. But I mean, if you're talking about like impact and like how really wasn't working out that much, you'd probably go Pirlo. But yeah. I think Bernardeschi and Insigne, which came out this morning by Tom Bogert, both of them got bought out by Toronto. So that's also a big blessing. They just got like 27 million in salary space to go out and get smarter signings. So Bernardeschi, I think he's already in talks with like Bologna from Fabrizio Romano, and Insigne, who knows if he's who knows what clubs, but I think he's definitely going back to Italy.
Somehow he's gonna find his way in Como.
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Well, look, I think that's going to be the end of our our discussion around each of these three teams. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments down below. We are going to grade them now, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll say the criteria. I won't pull it up on the screen again, but I'll say the criteria. Actually, let me show it one more time for those at home, just to make sure we're all on the same page. But to make the edits easier, I'm going to pull it right back down. So again, result and progression, level of competition faced, style points, and big moment impact. That's it. You can have any grade, right? From A to D. We're not going to F because MLS did not fucking fail at this tournament. So I'm going to A to D. That's how it's going to work. All right. So with all that said, let's jump in. Let's get everybody's thoughts here. Okay. So start with Miami, and we're going to start with results and progression. And let's combine that again, do at the same time that we do, level of competition phase. So let's first start with the results and progression. Hector?
C.
Davi?
I'll give it a B-.
Really? C, B- for results and progression. Bro, I'm actually going to say B. I feel like I'm being generous maybe a little bit, but I feel like it's one of those things where, I don't know, it's like, if any MLS team, they're only MLS team to make it out of the group, that's the only thing. They're the only ones to make it out of the group. So I'm giving that a lot of stock. Okay, level of competition they faced.
I'm gonna say B.
Yeah, B.
Mm-hmm. And for level of competition faced, I'm gonna go B as well. I think that was pretty spot on, to be honest. All right, style points. Did they play well? Did they look sharp? Did they have any kind of plan that was noticeable on the field? Or were they just kicking and praying?
I'm going to say C because I don't think that the level of play was kind of overwhelming at times. I do think that the great placement of that free kick was what it really stood out for me in that Porto game. It was just like, Porto, come on. You know Messi. You can't give him that spot.
That's a penalty for him at that point.
Yeah, it was a banger, though. It was a banger. Like, I don't think anybody can argue that.
It's Leagues Cup 2023.
I'm going B again, boys. I rate that free kick, and I don't think many players – I don't know who else in Miami would have hit that. And that leads me to big moment impact.
I rate that free kick very much. It's just that everything else was overwhelming.
That leads me to big moment impact. How are we thinking about this? Big moments, the big stars. They had a lot of them. Did they show up?
I'll say B. I think the free kick also that holds value. I mean, give that spot to Messi. Messi's supposed to make that in, and he did.
I'll give it a B-.
B-. And I'm gonna give this no bullshit an A. I think for what I was expecting going into this tournament, I saw big performances, even from players that I didn't expect to see performances from. I expect Luis Suarez to be out there hobbling around his cane, and the guy is still bagging absolute bangers in this tournament. I saw MLS MVP worthy performances out of their keeper Ustadi. I feel like the back line was super young, and they actually played pretty damn well, putting the knockout PSG game aside. I feel like they actually exceeded my expectations significantly to not ghost, despite what others out there might think. So putting all that in, right, it is a B for Inter Miami. Let us know how you feel about that grade in the comments below. That is the report card grade for the FIFA Club World Cup. Okay, now let's move on to Seattle. So again, results and progression. There was no progression, so
D.
I'm gonna say C because there was zero hope, and they actually outperformed on individual results basis some teams in this tournament. So
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll bump it up.
Okay.
I'll bump it up to C.
I'm gonna say C because bro, they got so screwed over with that group.
To only lose 2 goals to Atletico and PSG, that's pretty good. So
yeah, it's pretty good. Atleti lost 4-0 to PSG. Remember, for all those chirping at home, they lost 4-0 to PSG. Pulled it Inter Miami, if you will. All right, level of competition faced, bro. That's fucking A. Yeah, nobody say that's a fucking A. Yeah, they definitely had to
definitely fucking A.
It's like 100%. 100%.
Zero debate. Style points. Now this one's tough. This was very tough because how many style points can you actually have against the group that they got? If they play well, do they look sharp? Do they have a plan?
Hope and pray.
Yeah, I mean,
pray you don't get ass blasted. That's about it.
I will say there were specific players that I thought played pretty well. I actually thought Christian Roldan was good. I thought he was good for Seattle.
I think that fits towards the other category, though.
Yeah, and that's definitely a bit more big player impact because I think he's one of the few, in all honesty. Like Rusnak was so hit or miss.
This is for
Rothrock too. I don't know, man. It's just even the subs that came on, like De La Vega didn't do much. It's just I don't know. It was a weird, some weird performances in there, but as a collective, played pretty well. But I will say, yeah, style points they don't really get too many. Like me being generous is like a C.
D.
Who was that? Is that who said that? Davi or Hector?
Me.
Okay, I heard both at the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, just put me in there. Yeah, D.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what? Fine. I guess by that logic, I'll give him a D too. That's fine. It is what it is. All right, man. And then finally, big moment impact.
C for Christian Roldan.
C for Christian Roldan. Davi?
C.
And then I'm going to give him.
Never thought I would praise Christian Roldan.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be like a C minus ish for Seattle as far as an average goes. I'm going to say C to make it clean. Cool. Then finally, guys, LAFC. Hector, talk to me, bro. Result and progression.
They didn't win, but I will say, I guess, give some credit to the fact that they had the least amount of preparation for this. So a curve here. I would probably have given them a D being what the results were, but a C because there is a curve.
Yeah, I like that. Davi?
I'm going to be a little bit harsh. I'm going to give him a D.
A D?
I think that Esperance game really disappointed me. So,
you know what, bro? I'm right there with you, actually. I know I've been super nice up to everybody so far on this whole point, but not even just that. I got to hold them to the standard that I had them going into the tournament. I picked LAFC as my team to advance the furthest in the competition.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with that.
Miami had the easiest group on paper, but put the Chelsea game aside, and they could have advanced in that group, I thought. Like, Flamengo was their toughest game, and they almost won it. They bottled the lead. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with D. All right, level of competition phase. This was pretty good, actually.
I'll give it a B.
Okay. B.
I think Esperance drops it a bit.
Yeah, a bit, but they still had Chelsea and Flamengo in there.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, B plus.
I'm going to say B as well. I think B is accurate. It's not an A, right? Only one team has those A's all the way across the board. That is not them. But I will say they had a decently tough group. And then style points. They play well. They look sharp.
C.
Once again, as sharp as they could be. So C.
Bro, we're on this one. We're on the same wavelength, bro. They just did not look as sharp as they could be. That's the big thing. Is like they could have Boanga could have been better. that back line, the mentality could have been better. I don't know. The
penalty-
attack could have generated more opportunities. Olivier Giroud was critical of that. He said he didn't get any good crosses in, bro. They weren't creating many opportunities for him.
And once again, I just think Giroud just doesn't fit to what LAFC does.
Yeah, so I agree. And finally, big moment impact. We'll tell you guys like Bowanga, like Tillman, right? How do we feel?
Missing that penalty drops into a D to me.
Wow. Okay. Hector?
Yeah, it's a D. I don't think it's a no curve for that one.
Yeah, I agree. And outside of Hector's C take with levels of or results in progression, we're actually on the same board entirely with this one. I think this is
probably like a 69.99.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a C - D plus. That's kind of the area that we're in right now.
My assistant principal's like, better learn military, buddy.
That boarding school is calling your name, brother. Yeah, man.
Degrees.
Yeah, that's where it is. That's where it lands. Those are our grades for the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, at least when it comes to the 3 Major League Soccer franchises that were involved in this year's edition of the tournament. Guys, if you like this video, if you want us to bake in more global footy in general into any of these MLS-specific videos or content, guys, let me know down below, man. Like the video, subscribe to Goals TV, plenty of content on the channel, not just Wake Up MLS, several other shows. One very prominent show that features Eric Winalda himself. So again, if you're a big fan of any of that, subscribe to Goals TV down below. Let us know what you think, man. Going to try and do other types of videos and styles of videos as we get closer to other competitions like Leagues Cup and as we near closer to the 2025 MLS playoffs. Okay, so again, and down below in the notes, in the description, you got Hector's links, Davi's links, all down there. Go follow those guys. They're goats. They're legends. They're always here with me, breaking things down. Love to make sure they get their love, your support. And then finally, man, again, just sound off in the comments. Let us know if you're right, wrong, anything in between. I'm sure you guys will. All right. So from everybody here at Wake Up MLS, my name is Jose. That's Hector. That's Davi. We'll catch you guys next time.